Review scores. I think they are really stupid. Now hear me out, guys. In some cases they can be useful, but people take them way too seriously, and I find that really stupid. When it comes to music, video games, movies, hell, just entertainment in general, it seems people take the reviews of these the most seriously. Some even base their opinion on them. What inspired me to talk about this is the recent FNaF movie discourse and the Mario movie discourse earlier in the year. Man, it is really exhausting seeing that shit on my timeline whenever I go on Twitter. Oh my god. When it comes to reviews, of course, you have the two sides. You got the critics and the audience. And the divide between these two parties is quite drastic. It's like Bloods and Crips, except not at all, because it seems to be a mostly one-sided beef with the audience hating the critics. Personally, I don't really look into, or hell, even trust review scores when it comes to movies or games, especially in recent times. I would say at least half the critics are just paid shills for the media they are reviewing, which is bad and ruins any credibility those reviewers could have. Then you get the other side, which is the users and audience reviews, which are honestly a worse nightmare than the critic scores. In today's day and age with the internet and all of the dumbass losers on here that will make thousands of accounts to review bomb the living shit out of a game for a petty reason, like partaking in the console wars, for example. It happened with Starfield, and while I don't particularly think it's an amazing game, I don't think it's fair to be petty and review bomb it just because it's on Xbox and not PlayStation. And that's kind of why I just don't even bother to look at them. I don't doubt there are legitimate reviews out there from both critics and users. There definitely is, but it's also kind of hard to tell, but maybe that's just me. Because sometimes you'll just have a bunch of idiots that will review bomb a game and then honestly not even realize what game they're review bombing. Like with Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, the original is getting absolutely destroyed with its user scores on Metacritic because people are confusing it with the new Modern Warfare 3. That is partially Activision's fault for naming the game so poorly and making it confusing, but Call of Duty fans are fucking idiots, so who's surprised here? However, I also do understand the importance of them to some people. Sometimes you don't want to buy a game day one and figure out if it's a nightmare for yourself. And with how modern AAA games can be in recent years, I don't blame you. But then you have the other side of people, those that take the reviews so seriously as if that review killed the dog. This is mostly on Twitter that I notice it, and it's really funny. And there's no greater example of this than the recent FNaF movie discourse, with the critics not liking the movie and therefore giving the movie bad reviews. And because of that, the whole FNaF fandom on Twitter is freaking the fuck out and telling people to form their own opinion and discrediting the critics' opinions because they just don't understand the film. Remember that scene from Billy and Mandy? You know the one I'm talking about.
Am I the only one who understands the complexities of this ambitious cinematic masterpiece? This movie isn't stupid! You're stupid!
Yeah, that's pretty much how they're responding to the critics. But the funniest thing is, if the critics like the movie, then they just use it to validate their opinion and say how good the movie is, right? It is just a kind of weird cycle. Like, if the critics and the fans give it good reviews, then it's good. If the critics give it bad reviews, but the fans give it good reviews, then the critics don't know what the hell they're talking about. And if the critics give it good reviews, but the fans don't, then the fans are fucking idiots. And sometimes it can be an inverse of that. And see, that's what I don't really get about reviews and review scores. And it's why I kind of think they're just stupid. At least the way I view it. Reviews themselves aren't supposed to tell you, the reader, what you should think about something. They're not to tell you if you should think something is good, bad, or mid. More so to tell someone's opinion on if they themselves think it's good or bad or whatever. Because at the end of the day, that's all reviews really are. Opinions. Nothing more, nothing less. Kind of annoying to see people discredit others' opinions over disliking something like a game or a movie that they like and then tell everyone else not to listen to them and form their own opinion, when the critics are quite literally doing what you're doing. I don't see a problem here. This is the main reason that I believe that review scores are stupid to an extent, and it's the people's fault for it, giving so much power to the review scores and getting so worked up over them and letting it ruin their day because they disagree with it. It's stupid. This happens a lot in the music side of the internet too, especially with music reviews from Melon himself, Anthony Fantano.
Better. I'm feeling a strong 0 to a light 1.
God, people fucking take that dude so seriously, like if he's Jesus Christ. I saw a video saying he was out of touch, and no hate to the guy that made it. He had some decent points. It all came down to opinions and how he reviewed newer artists lower than other albums, but that's really just his opinion, and it shouldn't stop you from enjoying the music even if he reviewed it poorly. And it's even worse on Twitter too. Like, people got so offended over his Destroy Lonely and Ken Carson reviews that they straight up leaked his fucking divorce papers. How the hell do you even get that kind of information? So I guess you could say it's not the reviews themselves that are stupid, but the people reading them. But I won't lie to you, there are some really funny reviews and really stupid ones, and I love it. IGN is the perfect example of this, and they come out with a stupid review pretty frequently.
The exaggerated swagger of a black teen.
I also don't get when fans of something will just discredit critics for not liking what they like either, also because the audience is no better. The Steam reviews are a perfect example of this as well, and honestly, I do not recommend looking at those for any other reason besides having a good laugh. Because despite of how funny they are not likely to give you a good perspective on the game you are debating on purchasing at all. Metacritic is okay, at least when there aren't the obvious review bombers and bots. Sometimes you'll find some insightful reviews from the audience, but if I were you, I wouldn't count on it. Rotten Tomatoes, though, is also a questionable one because, especially since there was a company that was exposed a few months ago for paying critics for positive reviews, I don't know if that's true or not. I wouldn't be surprised if it was. But to end off the video, what is the moral here? Review scores are stupid and people should only come to me for what they should think about any media. Again, they are nothing more than just someone else's opinion. Whether it aligns with yours or not shouldn't really matter or affect you in any way. Disagreeing with people's opinions, I think, is fine. It can lead to interesting discussions and hell, could even open up people to new perspectives they wouldn't have otherwise. So the real moral today is that we should all fucking hate each other and rip each other apart over tiny disagreements. Alright, that's enough nonsensical rambling for one video. Until next time. Follow me on Twitter if you want someone to disagree with. Like the video if you disagree with me, or agree. Subscribe for one movie critic to be struck by lightning. And if you enjoyed the video, good. Now goodbye.